Hey guys, John here with Pro Edge Paintball. I'm back in the tech room today for another tech video. We've got the Exalt barrel shroud for the TiPX, the Tippmann TiPX pistol. We're going to install these, show you just how easy they are to install, and show you what they look like. Let's get started. All right, so to get started, you want to make sure that there's no CO2 tank inside your pistol. This is a used pistol that we have here at the store. It was the only black one I had, so do it for the video. So the inside of this might be dirty. You might get to see what it actually looks like after it's been used a while. I'm also going to take out the mag here, and then I'm going to go over these real quick. So this, of course, is your silver color for your Exalt barrel shroud. This is your gray. This is your black. So I'm curious how it's going to look. They should look pretty clean in here. We do have some custom colors coming in. So we have some tan and some olive colors that we have, that Arc Anodizing is doing for us. So maybe when you're watching this, we already have them available. Of course, you can get these Exalt TiPX barrel shrouds at prohpb.com. Okay, so to get started, like I said, you want to make sure no CO2, no mag, and your 1/8 Allen wrench, standard Allen wrench size. You're going to loosen all of these up. And whenever you start to loosen these up, I typically recommend to lay them. If you have a nice clean spot like I do here, lay them out kind of in the same shape of the gun that you took them out as. So I'm not going to make you watch me do all of these, but what I will say is, like I said, you'll see when I'm done, all the screws will be laid out in the same shape of the pistol. Okay, so one thing that I usually recommend in my other videos is if some of these screws are in here, like this is a used gun, so some of this stuff has been sitting for a while, you don't want to use the round side of your Allen wrench, your Allen key, because sometimes it will break off or round off the inside. You want to use that short side. The short side here gives you a little more leverage as well. So if this was kind of tight, you want to pop it loose, and then you can use the round end. Also on this, what's really nice is a lot of these screws go all the way through the other side. I believe actually every one of them does. So if you can't get it out, just slide your Allen key to the other side like this one. I'm going to push it out. So hit it just a little bit, loosen it up a little more. There we go. And if it's still threaded in, you won't be able to push it out and you're good to go. So if you notice, all my screws here, I have the two here. Kind of lay them out in the same order that you took them out. So it's kind of the shape of the gun. Makes it real easy to remember where they go. Okay. So when you're going to put your shroud in, this is spring loaded inside of here. There's a bolt system inside of here with the shroud and everything together. So I usually recommend to hold the shroud piece here when you're going to take this apart. So I'm just grabbing it, kind of pulling up. I'm holding the bottom half down. Of course, the more you do this, the better you'll get. But leave the barrel and everything in. Don't take the barrel out, because that actually helps kind of hold everything in line here. So I'm going to pull this out here, and I'm holding this piece down. And I'm just going to lay this off to the side. Like that. Good to go. So now if I let go, you see this is spring loaded. This is kind of going to come out here. And of course you can just lift it up all together and it will come out. But that way it doesn't shoot everywhere, anything like that. And then you have your spring bolt. You see this one's pretty dirty. And now you can unscrew your barrel if you want to, or you can just slide it right off the end. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to do the silver one. I want to show you guys, probably be easier to see inside the gun. And I'm not going to go through and clean this whole thing. We have other videos for that. But I just want to show you briefly how you want to put this back in the gun. Okay, so we have that there. So this is kind of a pain if you haven't done this before. So let's see how quickly I can do this. So this is going to be your valve, your bolt spring, little bumper here, and your valve. This piece does swivel and it does come apart. So if for some reason that shoots out, you want to make sure this is how it looks going back in. There's a small plastic piece here. This is for your mag release. Or actually, sorry, this is to push the mag to let the paintballs in. You're good to go there. You do have your trigger. Has a pin on the inside of it. And that all goes to the lever on the bottom. And then you do have your mag release here. And that is just a spring with a piece of plastic. And that will kind of flop around. That'll get in your way sometimes. And then you have your CO2. This is what punctures the CO2 valve when you pull the trigger for the first for the first time. There's a little sharp piece right there, punctures it, sits inside there. So that is just going to sit just like this. So right now, no tension on that. Let me make sure that this is, so the detent of this one's bad too. You know what, I'll go ahead and replace that. I've got one of these right here. Good to go. Okay. And so, put everything together here. So when you're putting it back together, I want to hold everything and kind of smush it together all at the same time. So hopefully, you may take you a few times to do this. You always want to make sure your detent is in there. That will kind of move around. Make sure all these plastic pieces in the right place. And the reason why I like to leave the shroud on here is it holds everything in. So once you do get everything flat, you're able to hold the gun down. And I'm going to leave the valve and everything over here for now. That'll be the last thing I put in. So I'm going to squeeze it in. See if I can get the front shroud to set in its place there. And then everything else kind of just presses into place. And remember, it is all under spring tension, so I'm kind of having to hold this all together. This O-ring is going to move around. There is a groove in the back of the shroud. So if you want to take it off, it never stays in place for me. It's supposed to sit right there. It never stays in place whenever I do it. So it'll start there and it never ends that way. So, okay, good to go. Remember, put the front shroud in first. And then I'm squeezing all together. And now again, hold this here, because if I let it go, it's going to go up. This valve, puncture valve, and this little O-ring here, this is all going to slide into here, to there. And it's just going to sit in there nice and snug. And you don't really want to do anything else. This is just, this comes out as well. There's 3 holes on each side. Goes in, snaps in place. Good to go. Make sure trigger's in place. Good to go. One thing that a lot of people do, like I'm glad this happened, was this little plastic piece, hopefully you can see that fell out. What that is so you can see if there's something inside the actual breech or not. And so it just sets inside. There's a little slot at the top of the gun. There's a little hole in the breech that tells you if there is paint inside the breech or not. And it connects the 2 bodies together, so you'll see it kind of, it's not a square, it's a rectangle piece. Let's see if I can get this in here. Good to go. So hopefully you can see that right there. So that always falls out as well. Good to go. Again, I'm holding this the entire time. Now I'm going to take my other body half, put it in here, and once I get it in there, again, what's not, if you didn't have this shroud in here right now, you wouldn't really have anything to hold everything flush easily. So I'm going to just lay the top body down here. This little push button is going to kind of get in your way. So you just kind of push it down and move it out of the way. Everything should go flat, but you are not out yet. So you want to go ahead and take, I typically recommend take the center screw here, drop it into there, and screw it into place. Because this will hold the center of the gun together. This will hold the center of the gun together, so you don't have to hold it together the entire time. And you're good to go. And of course, you'll put the rest of the screws back in. I'll go ahead and put the mag in, make sure that releases correctly before I put all the screws in, and you're set. So that looks pretty good. Like a little milling and stuff on top of it. And you can see the barrel. So if you have a different colored barrel, you can, of course, you'll be able to see all of that. But yeah, I like this a lot. So as you can see, if you've never done this before, it can kind of get difficult. Just take your time. Make sure you have a clean environment to work in. I'm going to take it apart, clean it all out and everything. But like I said, one thing to take from this, lay your screws out in the order that they go in, because they are different lengths. So the smaller 2 screws go on the bottom here. Your mid-side screw goes in the front, the back, and all the way at the bottom. And then your really, really long screw, or your longest screw, is going to go right here on the top. Right there. You're good to go. So put these in. When you're tightening these screws up, you don't really want to just use all your muscles. You want to firm them up or just tighten them up. Again, I use the short side or the long side with my thumb to put them all in. And then I take the short side and I snug them all up. It is plastic, so you don't want to over tighten anything. So there we go. Cool deal. Well, if you guys have any questions or if you have any problems or you are local to our store here in Houston and you want to pick up one of these shrouds, we do have them in stock, and we do install any parts you buy from us for free. So if you even ship your gun in to us for repairs and you want a couple upgrades put on there, there's no additional charge for us to install any parts, especially if the parts are purchased from us. So if you guys have any questions, comment below. As always, reach out to us on social media or through the comments, or you can email me directly, johnjohn@proedgepaintball.com. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. If you found this video useful, please go ahead and like this video down there. It really helps our YouTube channel grow a little more. So thank you guys.